People want to be entertained more than educated. Why? You've felt it. That pull. It's late, you're scrolling, and you have a choice. On one side is a documentary that could teach you something profound, something that might make you smarter. On the other is the next episode of that show you can't stop thinking about, a world of characters and cliffhangers calling your name. The show almost always wins. For years, you've probably blamed this on a lack of discipline, a personal failure to choose the better path. But what if it's not a failure? What if that choice is less about your willpower and more about your wiring? This isn't a flaw in your character, it's a feature of your design. Your brain is hardwired to choose the story over the study, the thrill over the theory. And that one seemingly small preference is secretly shaping our media, our schools, and the future of society itself. Section 1. The irresistible comfort of escape. Before we get into the brain chemistry, let's start with a feeling we all know, the desire for relief. Our daily lives are a constant stream of demands, deadlines, and decisions. We're navigating a world that asks for our constant mental and emotional energy. When you look at it that way, entertainment isn't a luxury, it's a tool for managing your mood. Think about what entertainment reliably gives you: immediate pleasure, emotional release, and a clean escape from the weight of your own reality. It's a dependable way to feel good, to dial down anxiety, or to just not feel so alone. People use music, movies, and shows to regulate their emotional state, find a sense of connection, or even reinforce who they are. This isn't new. Humans have always sought comfort in stories, play, and shared spectacle. It fulfills a deep universal need. Education, on the other hand, often gets framed as the opposite. For many of us, the word itself brings back memories of forced memorization, uninspiring classrooms, and the sheer boredom of learning things that felt totally irrelevant. While entertainment feels effortless and enjoyable, a lot of traditional education is associated with hard work and rewards that are far off in the future. So when we have to choose how to spend our precious free time, our emotional brain makes a very logical calculation. It picks the path of guaranteed comfort over the path of perceived effort. But this emotional pull is only half the story. To understand why the grip of entertainment is so strong, we have to look deeper at the chemical language our brain uses to decide what's worth our attention. If our feelings are pulling us toward the screen, what's happening on a chemical level that makes it so hard to resist? Section 2. Your brain on entertainment, a chemical story. The moment you're about to hit play next episode or your phone buzzes with a notification, a specific chemical process is unfolding in your brain. It's driven by a neurotransmitter you've probably heard of, dopamine. But dopamine is often misunderstood. It's not just the molecule of pleasure, it's the molecule of anticipation. It's the chemical that tells your brain, pay attention. Something important is about to happen. Digital entertainment is engineered to take advantage of this dopamine system. The cliffhanger at the end of an episode, the ding of a new like on social media, the reward of leveling up in a video game. These aren't just creative choices, they are neurochemical triggers. They create a dopamine loop, a cycle of anticipation and reward that keeps us coming back for more. Each hit reinforces the behavior, making it almost automatic. The brain learns that scrolling, watching, and playing provide a reliable, low-effort drip of dopamine, and it starts to crave it. This brings us to another key idea, cognitive load theory. Think of your brain's working memory as a limited resource, like the RAM on your computer. It can only process so much new information at once. Formal education naturally comes with a high cognitive load. It demands focus, critical thinking, and putting together complex new ideas. It's hard work and it burns a lot of mental energy. Entertainment, by contrast, is designed to be the opposite. It's built for a low cognitive load. Stories are presented in a way that's easy to follow. Visuals and music guide our emotions. The information is pre-digested. We can absorb it passively without the strenuous mental effort needed for deep learning. Your brain, which evolved to conserve energy, naturally leans toward the low-load, high-reward activity. The choice isn't just between learning and not learning. From your brain's perspective, it's between a difficult, energy-draining task and an easy, energy-giving one. The choice is obvious. Okay, so our brains are chemically and structurally wired for the instant hit of entertainment. This explains our personal choices and habits. But what happens when you scale that preference up to 8 billion people, what does that do to the world? Section 3. A world built for distraction. When an entire society's brains are tilted toward one thing, the world reshapes itself to meet that demand. This is the reality of the attention economy. In this economy, your attention is the most valuable and scarce resource, and corporations are in a ruthless race to capture it. It's no secret that the global entertainment and media industry is massively larger than the education market. We spend far more money and time being entertained than we do on education. This isn't a moral failure, it's a market reality. And that reality has huge consequences. The algorithms that run our digital lives, from social media feeds to streaming recommendations, aren't designed to make us smarter. They have one purpose: maximize engagement. And they've learned that the fastest way to do that is to serve up content that triggers our emotional and chemical reward systems. This creates a media landscape optimized for outrage, novelty, and simple narratives, because those things are deeply entertaining. Nuance, complexity, and critical thought are often tossed aside because they don't generate clicks as well. The result is a society with fragmented attention, where our ability to focus on deep, meaningful tasks is eroding. We're getting used to quick, digestible bits of information, making it harder to do the focused thinking required for real learning or to solve complex problems. A society that values amusement over education risks weakening its own foundations as an informed citizenry gives way to a distracted and easily influenced one. This sounds pretty bleak. Our schools are struggling to get the attention of students wired for instant gratification. Our media seems designed to keep us in a state of shallow engagement. Is there a way out? Or are we just going to be entertained into ignorance? Section 4. The Trojan Horse of Learning. The solution isn't to declare war on entertainment. That's a war against our own biology, and we would lose. The answer isn't to reject entertainment, but to hijack it for a different purpose. This is the power of edutainment. This isn't about adding a few flashy graphics to make boring educational videos slightly less boring. It's about changing the entire approach. It means using the very tools that make entertainment so compelling: powerful storytelling, emotional connection, relatable characters, and a manageable cognitive load to deliver knowledge. Storytelling is the original human learning technology. For thousands of years, it's how we've made sense of the world, passed down wisdom, and processed complicated information. When a lesson is wrapped in a narrative, our brains engage differently. We're not just memorizing facts, we're experiencing a story. Game-based learning, for instance, has been shown to dramatically improve understanding and engagement precisely because it taps into our natural desire for challenge, achievement, and play. Think of the best TED Talks, which use personal stories to make complex science feel simple. Think of documentaries that frame historical events as gripping human dramas. Think of YouTube channels that use brilliant animation and narrative to explain quantum physics or philosophy. They aren't fighting our desire to be entertained, they're using it. They are building a Trojan horse, sneaking valuable knowledge inside a captivating experience. This approach proves that education doesn't have to be a chore. When done right, it can be the most compelling form of entertainment there is. Conclusion. Your preference for a good story over a dry lecture isn't a sign of laziness. It's a deep-seated part of our psychology, rooted in our need for emotional comfort and driven by the powerful chemistry of our brain's reward system. This preference is so powerful that a global economy has been built to feed it, sometimes harming our focus and our society. But understanding this wiring doesn't leave us helpless. It gives us a blueprint. It shows us that the path to a smarter world isn't about shaming people for wanting to be entertained. It's about making knowledge itself irresistibly entertaining. The challenge isn't to force more discipline, but to create better stories, better games, and better experiences that educate by engaging our whole brain, not just the part that takes notes. The future of learning might not be in the quiet halls of a library, but in our ability to harness the very things that make us human: our love of story, our search for pleasure, and our connection to each other. The choice we make isn't just about what we watch tonight, it's a vote for the kind of world we want to live in. A world that simply distracts us, or one that cleverly, brilliantly, and entertainingly empowers us. If this changed how you think about your screen time, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the psychology of our modern world. And we want to know, what's one piece of edutainment, a game, a show, or a video that genuinely changed your mind about something? Share it in the comments below.